everyone. This is Mario Martinez Jr. here, CEO, founder, and digital sales evangelist for Vengresso. And I am so excited to be talking to you today for the Sales Development Summit here with the InsideSales.com team. And I happen to be in Hawaii, which is why you see this particular background here, borrowing a training room. And when I was asked to take some time to talk to you as a sales leader about how to become a more attractive modern manager, be able to attract and retain your sales development talent, I said absolutely, even though I'm here for the almost the entire time here in December for in Hawaii. So I want to be able to spend some time talking to you today about the modern seller needing a modern manager. Let's get right into our discussion point here, and let's talk about the state of today's seller. All of the new sales development reps, inside sales reps, people that we are bringing on board that are relatively new to the industry, and those that we are recruiting as well, there are various different characteristics for each of these types of sellers. First, we know for a certainty that our sellers are digitally enabled. Now, how do we know this? Well, if we take a look at the amount of digital connected devices that each person owns worldwide, that number is a staggering 3.64 connected devices. Now, you have to ask yourself, what are they doing on a connected device? Well, I'm going to take you through a second quality of today's modern seller. Today's modern seller is also socially engaged. They are leveraging social networks across many different platforms, whether that be Instagram, whether that be Facebook, whether that be LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, you name it, they are engaged, especially this new type of talent that we're trying to attract into our SDR, BDR, and inside sales roles. Well, how do we know that? Let's prove that. First, take a look at the percentage of the US population that had a social networking profile from 2008 and now just a year ago to 2016. 78% of the entire US population had a social networking profile. Now, there are several hundreds of social networks that are out there that this study included. But if you just think of the big five, or big six, excuse me, that's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram. And most of the new talent that we're trying to recruit today, they grew up utilizing these types of platforms and these types of technologies. In addition, the third quality of today's modern seller or sales development rep that we're trying to attract is they're mobile attached. This device right here that they are connected to. We go to restaurants and we see families sitting down, not even speaking to each other, and all they're doing is texting away. We've bumped into people on the road because they're looking down at their mobile device. We know that many of us, including many of us that are included inside of this mobile attached world, have a big problem. How do we know that? Well, I've got a couple pictures inside here. How many of you do this? Sleep next to your phone. Go back 5 years ago, and we would have never thought about sleeping with our phone literally next to us at the nightstand. And what's interesting, if you think about this, think about what is the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning? That's right, you're probably checking your phone, just like the modern day sales rep is doing as well. If you think about the fourth quality that are of today's modern seller, they are video hungry. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at some stats. In 2017, that is just weeks away from ending, experts believe that video will take up greater than 60% of the consumer internet traffic worldwide. That's as much as 4x the web browsing and email that is being used. They are consuming video at an alarming rate. Not just they, we are consuming video. Now, if you think about in 2018, experts predict that this will have risen to 79% of consumer internet-related traffic will be as a result of consuming video. Now, this is hugely important to understand that today's modern seller, the folks that you are trying to recruit, are in fact digitally enabled, socially engaged, mobile attached, and video hungry. So, what does that mean? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the digital world and how this digital world has disrupted different brands and have created companies as a result of it. I want to first go to and want you to think of the company Netflix. Now, we all know Netflix, and Netflix came as a result. And when it came onto the scene, many have actually thought that Netflix put Blockbuster out of business. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not what happened. In fact, Netflix didn't kill Blockbuster. It was the ridiculous late fees that killed Blockbuster. It was the inability to keep videos longer for any length of period of time that somebody wanted to be able to, well, be able to watch a video. And Netflix came to the scene and digitally enabled streaming video directly to an individual's home and allowing them unlimited access and unlimited use of being able to consume that video. Blockbuster did not respond. Think about Apple. Apple didn't clobber the music industry. No, it was the music industry that clobbered itself by requiring individuals to purchase full-length CDs just to buy the one favorite song. And Apple came and said, hey, the buyer is demanding that we change the way we engage with them. And they want one song. Let's allow them to be able to purchase that one song. And thus, the Apple came to the scene, and thus the almost disintegration of the ability to buy CDs now today. Amazon. They say Amazon is crushing, giving a death-dealing blow, if you would, to the retailers. Well, I would argue that that's absolutely not the case. Amazon is not giving the retailers a death-dealing blow. It's really the bad customer service and the experience that is happening in the retail stores that buyers are saying, no more. I can get quicker, faster, better, right to my doorstep, things that I want, and return it very easily. And the retailers have not responded in like kind. Think about Uber, Lyft. These companies, they're not destroying the taxi industry. No, it was the taxi industry that destroyed itself by not responding to the buyer saying, no more fare control. And I want to be able to get to where I want to go anywhere and be able to have access to be able to have these rides to get me all around town, not just in various locations where the taxis may want to be at. And finally, think of Airbnb. Airbnb isn't destroying the hotel industry. No, rather Airbnb is offering additional choices that people otherwise didn't have at competitive prices that people otherwise didn't have as a result of the hotel industry. Now, why do you care about this, and how in the heck does it relate to a salesperson? Well, technology by itself was absolutely not the real disruptor here. It was not responding to the way customers wanted to buy. And it made whole companies like Blockbuster and some of the retailers that you hear going out of business, the taxi industry, the hotel industry that is suffering. It has made them become either A, obsolete, or B, suffering severely as a direct result of these different digital disruptions. What the heck does that mean, and how does that relate to the salesperson today? Well, keeping those things in mind, I want you to now think about this same trend. The same trend has forced the way you and I, as leaders, how we must learn to attract and retain talent. Notice I said attract and retain talent. Or you face the issue and challenge that other companies have faced, and they became obsolete. And that's the last thing that we want you to become, is obsolete as regards to this trend that is taking place. Well, the trend is the digital disruption era, if you would. Our modern day salesperson, the sales development rep, the inside salesperson, those individuals that you're trying to recruit, we know they're socially engaged, we know they're mobile attached, we know they're digitally engaged, enabled, and we know they're video hungry. So the question you have to ask yourself as a leader, am I responding to the salesperson, the modern salesperson's demands of what they are expecting from me as a leader and from the company? Because if you're not, then you can become obsolete like the other companies that I just referenced in the previous slide. So what I want to do today is I want to help you to become that modern sales leader, to be able to demonstrate digital sales leadership as a leader. Now, I don't have all the details that I can share with you here, but I'm going to share with you some really great tips. And by the way, down below, you're seeing a little Tweety bird. And anytime throughout this presentation, please feel free to tweet out a comment and tag at M_3JR and use the hashtag sales and hashtag sales development. So let's get right into this. I want to go through your path to digital sales leadership as a sales manager or sales leader. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we're going to cover. We're going to cover essentially 7 different steps. Number 1, create an effective executive profile. I'm going to show you just a sampling of something that you should do to be able to become a more attractive sales leader to the sales teams or salespeople that you're trying to attract. Number 2, you want to be able to show that your company has socially engaged leaders. Number 3, you must demonstrate that you have a voice in the industry and that you are building thought leadership, because that is what the modern seller is looking for from you. Number 4, we're going to talk about learning to connect with every single customer and prospect and why that is so important. And I'm going to show you a trick of the trade to be able to make that happen and accomplish that. And number 5, we're going to go through encouraging you to learn to leverage your network. As you continue to build your network, you're going to want to leverage this network for your sales organization, your sales development rep, your inside salesperson. Number 6, we're going to teach you and talk to you about be where your customers are and identifying new leads. And finally, number 7, how to keep tabs on the competition and potential acquisitions, and why this is so important that you understand these competitive details and not put that on the rep per se. So let's get right into this particular topic. First off, creating an executive profile can be difficult and it can be daunting, but I'm going to give you some tips here today that hopefully will help you. First, you need to understand that your online profile serves as your digital brand. It is the footprint that Google, Yahoo, and Bing are all looking at and SEO optimizing your particular profile. They are indexing that profile of yours. It also becomes your digital Rolodex. Now, if you think about this, people still hand out business cards. I don't know about you, but I've got a massive stack of business cards that I just collect and put onto my desk. Why? Because I'm doing a couple things. One of 2 things. I'm taking that business card and I'm taking a picture of it and entering into my CRM system through a photograph. Or B, I immediately go to LinkedIn and connect with that individual directly on LinkedIn. And guess what? LinkedIn now houses that phone number, that email address, all the digital information that is required to know about my particular buyer in that particular LinkedIn profile. So we no longer actually have those old school Rolodexes that we all used to have on our desk many years ago. That's gone. In fact, I don't even know if you can buy those things anymore. So number 3, as I mentioned, it serves as your digital business card. When I go to networking events, I actually rarely bring my business card. In fact, I'll walk around with my device in hand, and I will literally, as I'm meeting people, connect with them right there, face to face on LinkedIn, and open up my network to them to be able to build a relationship both online as well as offline. And as I mentioned earlier, your digital profile is how Yahoo and Bing and Google will index you, and it will serve you up when people go to look for you. When people want to find out information about Mario Martinez Jr., you can literally type that into Google and you can see everything that you can possibly find through my social profiles about me by typing in Mario Martinez Jr. on Google. And this is important because as sales reps who are either A, new to the industry, or B, coming to potentially work for you, they want to know who you are as a leader. What are you all about? What are your family values and what's important to you? We're going to get into some additional things that they're looking for as well. Remember, your digital profile serves as your mini micro website. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, it can be indexed, and you can open up your profile so that, in fact, these sites like Google, Yahoo, and Bing can index your site and actually start displaying results based upon your name being as a search title. And lastly, it is your talent recruitment page. And this is critical that you understand that. What do I mean by that? Well, think about this. Whenever you're going to interview somebody, not only do you get the resume, but your recruiter always sends you that person's LinkedIn profile. And as much as you're using your LinkedIn, as much as you're using LinkedIn to view the sales rep's profile, let me ask you a question. Why wouldn't a sales rep be looking at your LinkedIn profile? You're looking at it to understand who's recommended that individual. What are their accomplishments? What are they all about? What awards have they received? What achievements have they accomplished? Do they have a complete profile? Is their spelling correct? Do they have the right type of branding on there? Do they understand that today's modern buyer requires a modern seller? So the question is if you're looking for those elements and those things, well, why wouldn't the modern seller be looking to understand if you're a modern manager and that you can help them in various areas? What are those areas? Well, think about it this way. When someone comes to your specific LinkedIn page, they're looking for several items. And a few of them are, A, can you inspire them? Are you the type of leader that demonstrates that you can inspire them to become better, be greater, to get to the next level? B, do you lead by example? They're looking for different types of recommendations where people are talking about who you are as a leader. Ask yourself, how many recommendations do you have on LinkedIn as an example? C, what do others say about you? I just referenced this in way of recommendations, and this is important as you're thinking about recommendations and how to go about leveraging these recommendations. It's important that your talent, the people that you're trying to attract, they understand what others say about you. For example, if you went through my 120 plus different LinkedIn recommendations, more than 60 of them are based upon individuals who've worked with me, worked for me, worked above me. And what you'll find is that I subscribe to the very direct approach. And everyone will tell you that I subscribe to the direct approach. In addition, those who have worked for me in my organizations will also tell you that as a leader, I've always pushed them to become better, to be greater. And if that's the type of person that you want to work for, then I'm that type of person. And you can read that through the recommendations. It is authentic, it is raw, it is unfiltered. And that's what others have said about me. And I want people to know that I do subscribe to the direct approach and that I will push you out of your comfort zone, completely out of your comfort zone, to make you better. So this is important that your recommendations help them to see what do others say about you. D, is your organization somewhere they would want to work for? Now, many leaders look at me and say, well, how could I display that? That is through the content by which you post. For example, are you doing team outings? How often are you posting those pictures on your social channels? Are you recording any of those types of videos and bringing them to your LinkedIn profile to showcase the culture of your organization? A few months ago, I saw a video of a internet organization, an internet startup organization that was welcoming their newest employee to the company. And what their tradition is every single new employee that comes to the organization at 8 a.m., there is a receiving line, just like a wedding, a receiving line down the hallway of all the employees welcoming that new employee on the very first day of their employment. And think about that. If you were to put those types of things that you do, traditions of things that you do on your LinkedIn profile, wouldn't that help your potential new talent to be more attracted to want to work for a place like yours and help to differentiate between you and another amazing, great company that they may be looking at? In fact, it would. And finally, is the place that that they are thinking of working for, that you want them to potentially come work for, is it fun? Do you have a great culture? These are all the things that your online social presence can do and help display the right type of information. In addition, by having this data on there on a LinkedIn profile, it absolutely helps an individual to be able to see that, in fact, they did their homework. When you're in your interview, they'll reference these types of things to be able to have conversations with you about the things that they saw and the things that they're interested in and why they're interested in. And hopefully, they did their homework. Let's go on to the continuation of creating your effective executive profile. In your summary section, this is where you can actually add a personal note about you, share more about your vision, the vision that you have for the role of the organization, for the role that you have as a leader, as a manager, a director, whatever it might be. Take that opportunity to display that here in your summary. Now, this is different than what we would display for a salesperson versus a sales leader or manager. So make sure you take the time to be able to talk about the vision, talk about who you are, talk about what you are expecting and how you want to deliver it, and the type of culture that you bring to the team or to the region or to the company. In your experience section, you can definitely list your key positions, talk about your achievements, briefly explain your role, talk about your education background, and absolutely include things about customers inside there so they get the full experience of what it is that you guys are doing for your particular customers. And most certainly, just like with anything, when we're on social media, as an example, when we scroll through our feeds, we are stopping at, of course, pictures and videos. So make sure that you're including pictures and videos and graphics and one-pagers inside of your LinkedIn profile so that you can bring your LinkedIn profile to life, number one, but number two, it can help your talent understand what you do, who you help, what business problem you solve, and the types of customers that you go after. And it forces them and it allows you to be able to see, did they do their research? Did they do their homework? Now let's go into number 2 of 7. There was a study that was completed and that was done, albeit it's a few years old, but this was back from the study that was about the social CEO back from 2013. And it said that 80% of employees say they would rather work for a social CEO, and 2 out of 3 customers say that their perception of the CEO impacts their perception of the company. Well, you are the CEO of your individual business. So my suggestion is be that social CEO and allow individuals to be able to socially engage with you as a leader in your organization to develop the right perception of the company. Number 3, we want you to be a voice of your industry, build thought leadership. So there are various things that you can do, including posting and sharing updates. Well, what are some of those postings or shares that you can do? Let's take a look. Number 1, you can share recommended articles that LinkedIn or Twitter may serve up to you. Number 2, any personal type of insights, things that you may have a knowledge of. For example, you're in sales development, so why not share best practices on sales development? Number 3, insights into the corporate culture of the organization. Number 4, being relevant with industry news. Number 5, company blog articles. This is a great one to be able to engage with your particular buyers. White papers, landing pages, company webinars, your personal passions. I've had customers who have belonged to a particular association. For example, the Epileptic Foundation. Well, you can share that type of information as well, so it helps to round out who you are as a leader. And finally, make sure you sync your LinkedIn account with your Twitter account as well so that you can post to both platforms more easily. Here's a number 4. This is a great best practice. Now, oftentimes what I had my reps do is they would copy me on every single meeting invite that they would send out. However, what they would do is they would send it out to the customer and then add me after the fact. Now, clearly I couldn't go to every single meeting, and that would be a bad use of my time as a sales manager. However, one of the important things that I did do was that the day before the meeting, I would always reach out to the individual customer or prospect and reach out with a connection message just like this. Let them know I was invited last minute. Unfortunately, I have a conflict, but given our backgrounds, I thought it'd be great to connect on LinkedIn, and I look forward to working with them soon. And here's a face to the executive leadership team. This is important to be able to do these types of things with prospects because it not only brings the prospect into your network, but it should allow your sales rep to start also connecting with your buyers. And let's face it, at least 25% of our meetings get canceled or rescheduled. So if you never reschedule that meeting or can't get a hold of that prospect again, at least they're inside your network and you can feed them with valuable content. Number 5, something that's very important for you to be thinking about is making sure that you are leveraging your network for your sales teams, for your sales development reps and your inside sales teams. Your network and your relationships, as you continue to build them and grow them with customers and prospects, it will allow quicker, faster, and better results, and will allow you to accelerate sales. You can shorten that timeline, if you would, to getting to different types of key decision makers by allowing your team to look at your particular network. Now, these are profile settings you can change on LinkedIn so that they can actually see this. So this is very important that you do these types of things and really encourage your teams to leverage your network. Of course, be the buffer, and never let somebody just reach out directly and say, hey, I saw that you were connected with Mario Martinez, my manager. No, be the buffer and make sure you own those relationships at all times. Number 6, be where your customers are and identify new leads. Look, in real life, in real interactions, in an event, we talk to people. And the best way, as you and I both already know as leaders, to create customer brand advocates and to build better relationships is to communicate. So make sure you're utilizing social to watch what people are talking about and to engage with those particular people. And this is particularly important by engaging with your customers. You set yourself apart from the competition. And as I just had from this morning, one of my previous customers referred me, again, it happens day over day, week over week, referred me to somebody else because of my top of mind social engagement. And you can follow the example of Richard Branson. This is something that he does every single day. He tries to respond to a few customers' questions per day. Last but not least, it is your job and your responsibility to keep tabs on the competition and about potential acquisitions to make sure that your teams are updated in the know. And so here's a great resource. Use Owler, O-W-L-E-R. And if you go to this particular website here, you can see the website right here on the screen in the PowerPoint, sales.owler.com/Mario Martinez.html. Well, it'll help you to be able to set up these alerts so that you can let your employees or let your sales folks know when something's happening with a potential big deal and or with a client that they may be trying to penetrate. So it is my hope that you found some great value in these 7 paths to digital sales leadership, helping you to become the modern manager that the modern seller requires. To that end, I want to be able to make sure you know that because Vengresso actually has a column in Selling Power, we are able to offer a 12-month digital subscription to Selling Power magazine for you and your entire sales team. And so if you go to this particular website here, it is case sensitive. That's http://bit.ly/Vengresso Selling Power Mag. Just like this, if you go to that, register yourself, all we gather is a few pieces of information, and we will get you set up with a 12-month digital subscription to Selling Power Magazine, 100% free of charge. And if you are not interested in that, but you'd love to be able to understand different types of tips on sales, digital selling, personal branding, you can certainly text your email to 925-403-4170. Just put your email address inside there, hit send, and I'll reply back to you saying what's your first name, and you can provide your first name as well. Last but not least, how can we help? Well, Vegresso is the digital sales transformation company, and it all comes down to helping you build a content and social media strategy, helping you with personal branding and doing personal branding for your sales team, providing the digital sales training, and helping you with the content distribution. So make sure, if you're looking at the screen right now, make sure you connect with me, Mario Martinez Jr. on LinkedIn. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got hundreds of videos there that are free tips that we release multiple every single week that you will find some great value out of. Just go and search Vengresso and follow me at M_3JR. And I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be with you. I'm very excited that I had an opportunity to be able to be with you today. So thank you so much. And until next time, we'll talk. Take care. Bye-bye.